Hi everyone, it's Kiri here for Bramble Fox with a brand new layout using the fabulous July Fox box, and I'm also using the Paper Snips number 76 and the Fox Cut Stencil number 120, and they both come with the Fox Box Plus subscription. So I've pulled out, I've got the 49 and Market. I've got a mix of two collections here, Wherever and Vintage Artistry Everywhere. And I've got this background paper here. And I rather like the houses on the sort of top right and bottom left. So I decided to base my sort of clusters around those two elements. So it will end up a bit of a diagonal type design. It is a diagonal design. So I've got my 8 photos. I've splitting them up into 4 photo blocks, and here I'm just playing around with the ephemera and the different elements. That wooden window frame is also from the Fox box, and the binoculars there that I've just moved, they're also from the Fox box as well. And you can see I've got Amazing Views there, which is the title that I'm going to use from the July Fox box. So I'm playing around with everything. This isn't really quite how it ends up, but it's just giving me a bit of a feel for how it's going to look ultimately. So I certainly do make some changes to the clusters, which you'll see as I work on it a little bit later. So I've also, now those pieces I've just added on there, they're some of the paper snips. Now I'd already cut up the paper snips from previous layout, and I've just added, I've got a few pieces that I thought would work well with this one. It's just the little word phrases. I've got gentle breeze, tranquility, and follow the road less travelled. And there's also another pair of binoculars, the ones that are sat up on the wooden window frame. Okay, I've got the stencil here. So this, as I say, comes with Foxbox Plus. I've pulled in 2 of the Distress Oxides. I've got Stormy Sky and Bundle Sage. I just matched those to the colours of the paper collection. And I used the green as the base for my fern, and then I just added a bit of the blue along the edge. And then I'm just going to fussy cut this out. I've also already done prepared earlier. I've got a couple of others. I've got the larger fern leaves and another one of these like fronds here as well. And then I'll add those to each of my clusters. So there we go, just curving up the edges like I like to do. And there you go, as if by magic, there's the other pieces I've already done. And I'll add those in. But you can see it's definitely not quite how it ends up. Okay, so I've left that there. I'll leave that and I'll ponder on that. But firstly, I'll get my photos mounted. I mounted them in a block of 4 onto one of the pattern papers. And I brought in this it's quite a dark navy deep blue. And I'm just using that just to allow the photos to pop from the backgrounds a little bit more. And then, of course, I will distress the edges. So there we go. Photos are down. I've used foam pads along the top edges. I've just to raise them up, but the bottom edges of the photo blocks are stuck flat. And then I'm just bringing in now, I'm going to start to get things stuck down. I thought the row of houses worked well. It sort of almost continued from that house over on the left. But of course, my photos are of lots of sort of buildings along the edges of the canal. So yeah. Okay, I'm getting the top right cluster worked in. I've got my ferns there, the ones that I stenciled and fussy cut. So I'll get those layered in. And what you'll notice is I've curved up the edges of pretty much everything. And then I'm just sticking it down with a bit of glue on the centers of most things. That way it gives me still that dimension that I like to make sure I add to my layouts. So just layering up again some more of the elements there. I've got a couple of fussy cut pieces from the Paper Snips, number 76. I used a lot of them actually on a previous layout, so there's not too many pieces left. So I've only got a few here on this layout. So I think I've got the phrases. I've got Gentle Breeze, just raising that up on foam pads. And then I've got a couple that I'll add to the bottom left cluster. And then also those binoculars as well, they're the ones that I'm just working with there that I'm going to stick down too. And then that top cluster, I think, is almost there. Ah, yes, little photo corners. Okay, I'm just going to add these just as a little detail to my photo blocks. I'm just adding 2 to the top one, and I will add 2 to the bottom one. And I'm just, as you can see, I was just raising those on foam pads. So, if you are not already a subscriber to the Bramble Fox Foxbox, pop on over to the website bramblefox.co.uk and go to Foxbox, and you'll find all the details there on how to subscribe. You'll receive a fabulous pack of embellishments, acrylic embellishments every month. And of course, you also have the option of going for the Foxbox Plus, which gives you the additional Fox cut stencil and the paper snips as well. Okay, so working on the bottom left cluster here, I've got my leaf again, the tickets. I've got a few repeating elements just to create some consistency across the layout, but it helps to sort of draw the eye together as well. Then I've got my frame. I've got the circle element that I had in the top right as well. Now, what I realized with the frame that it was sort of, I didn't quite like that you could see everything at the back. So what I've done is I've just cut a small piece of pattern paper, and it's a repeat of sort of these houses here. And I almost feel like you're sort of looking out the window to the houses. So I quite like that. So I'm just backing that. So that just gives me something a bit more sort of solid behind the window versus all the different sort of elements there. And then I can get that stuck down, and we can get the other elements layered up. Oh, yeah, my other fern frond. So you can see I've really switched things around here, because that wooden frame I had at the top right before, I had the leaves facing down. So I've certainly switched it up, but it gives me a good place to start. And that's what I always like to do, is get my photos on, nothing stuck down, play around with the embellishments, ephemera, whatever it is that you're using, and sort of just placing everything. I take a photo and then I work from that. So it's my starting point. Okay, so now I'm just getting the other perspective stuck down. So I've stuck down the binoculars on the bottom left there onto the window frame. I've got my Amazing Views title that I'm just going to add up here. If you remember, I had that at the bottom previously. I did move it, but yeah, it definitely works for me better at that above the photos. I've got the little anchor over there on the bottom right. That's from a previous perspective set from the shop, so it's a slightly older one. And I will just add that little anchor. I felt because we were on a boat, that worked quite well. So I'm just tucking that in there. And then what have I done next? Okay, journaling. I'm going to add my journaling down on the bottom right. And then I remembered I had this set. It's the Fern set, and it is still available in the shop. And I'm going to just layer in a couple of the ferns and one of the fern fronds into my clusters as well. I've also got the dragonflies and the butterfly. They're also from my stash. They're slightly older sets, and I'm just adding those into each of the clusters too. So this is almost sort of coming together. I'm almost done. Though I did after, it's always the way. I often finish a video and then put my, put it away, put my layout away, and then and then look at it again, maybe the next morning when I think, oh, I might just add something. So yeah, that's pretty bad of me. I should really do it on video. Okay, I've just got a couple of enamel dots I'm just adding in, and I did bring in some sequins as well to add a bit of sparkle, and also some gold splatters. Here are the close-up photos. I really enjoyed making this layout, and I hope you've enjoyed following me with the video, and I will see you again very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.